This guy went from feeding off the scraps left by his local competitors to making 7 figures a year working remotely with his dream clients all across the country. His secret? Simple, short YouTube videos.
I started with flyers, knocking on doors, but now we can hit into 7 figures, no problem. And that's because of YouTube and the leads that it brings.
This week, I sat down with Bobby Krull to figure out how he was able to use YouTube to take his small local service business national, what kinds of videos he focused on to help him expand the way he did, how long it took him to start seeing results, and he's even gonna reveal the old school trick that nobody really talks about that he uses to get a ton of local views on his videos, scoring him some big money projects. But before all the YouTube success, Bobby was running a small lawn maintenance business in St. Louis, and it wasn't easy. So Bobby, what was it like finding clients in those early pre-YouTube days?
Man, I don't even want to go back there. I think I was definitely struggling, and I was doing what most contractors do, where you rely on, your home advisors or your Angie's List, and you get a lot of tire kicker, not very good leads, not the kind that you want to get into because you haven't established yourself. You haven't established that brand, that expert knowledge that you possess that you want to get out in front of the right clientele. And so what you do is you burn up a lot of cash and you make a lot of mistakes.
And Bobby started noticing just how much competition he had for the projects that he actually wanted.
I remember cut somebody's grass one day and they had another company there installing their patios and doing the retaining wall. And I'm like, this is what I want to do. And this is the niche that I want to be in. And so I shifted at that point and definitely started to go more into the design and the hardscape realm. You really have to market yourself in a way where this is what I want to do. And you keep persisting and you keep refining your message. Eventually you realize, okay, this is the avatar that I really want to go after. How can I get more of those in front of me? And I think that's where YouTube really started to come in.
But he didn't really know that at the time. He actually started off a bit smaller.
What I did is I simply took my phone out and I would record different segments and I would throw it up on Facebook, a little on Instagram, like not knowing at all what I was doing. But I noticed that people really enjoyed seeing that process. I went on YouTube to learn things and I really enjoyed it. And it just clicked. Maybe I woke up one day with a clear head and I was like, I want to put something out there and I want to give it a go. And I did.
So he took the plunge and started a YouTube channel, but it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows at first. Bobby had no clue what kind of videos to make. Some days he wanted to throw in the towel and just go back to mowing lawns.
And I wanted to quit a ton.
But then something happened that kept him going.
Within a couple weeks, I was starting to get some results, like hearing I saw you on YouTube, or get an email that, oh, I saw this on YouTube.
It wasn't much at first, but those small wins, they were about to transform into something much, much bigger.
You get lucky and you make 1 or 2 videos that pop off. You don't know which ones they're going to be. You don't know why. A lot of times I still don't know why. Some of my videos do well and some don't.
So even though he didn't really have a process yet, his channel wasn't just crawling anymore.
It did start to snowball.
More views led to more subscribers, which led to even more views and clients. It was like a domino effect, but in the best way possible. First, local clients started pouring in, all saying the same thing. I found you on YouTube. But these weren't just any clients. They were different from the leads he used to get. These guys were ready to hire, eager to hear his design ideas, and interested in taking on those larger projects. It was like YouTube had pre-sold them on Bobby's expertise before he ever even met them. But working with local clients was just the beginning, right? What happened next?
I remember one particular client. They were out of Augusta, Georgia. They had watched the channel and I got a call on like a Friday night and they said they wanted me to design their yard. And that was one of the first real bigger opportunities, like a master plan kind of thing where you tackle an entire space. And I was taken back by it, like, oh wow, I had no idea people in Georgia were watching. I actually flew out there and I did a design and we ended up kind of doing the project too. The point is it opened up opportunities for people in different states to come to me who maybe didn't have a landscape designer or a company that they trusted or that they liked in their town. And it really sparked from that one client, gave me a lot of confidence. And I realized, wow, I could create an online business in a way by being a landscaper. And I thought that was so crazy.
Just like that, Bobby's business went from local to long distance. And it wasn't a one-off either. More and more out-of-state clients started reaching out. But that led to a new problem. He was living the dream, but he felt pulled in too many directions.
I realized this isn't sustainable at all. I can't be flying all over the country. My wife is pregnant with our first. This isn't going to happen. So I had to develop a system and a process where we talk through Zoom. I put together plans that anybody can do, whether you're a DIYer or you want to find your favorite local landscaper or contractor. They're plans that are universal and they make sense. It's become streamlined in a way where I'm able to grow and scale this kind of business versus being tied down to flying out to a place and run projects here in the St. Louis area. I already had this install business, but now I have this design business as well. I get to design all over still. It's cool.
Bobby's YouTube success wasn't just luck. He had cracked the code on what his audience really wanted to see. Over time, he identified 4 types of videos that consistently performed well.
So I have a couple different buckets that I like to call them of different style videos I do. Right now, what they are is movies is what I call one. I'm a big movie buff. And so what I try to do metaphorically is bring in a movie scenario so that people understand. Like I did the Karate Kid, and your landscape designer is your Mr. Miyagi. And then I have like a big design concept one where I show lots of cool Pinterest things and projects. And I really hone in on a design technique through those images to teach you something. Then I have something called like showing designs. I record my screen doing a certain type of design, and then I bring you all over the country with 3 different examples. And while I'm firing out tips on what's going on, that design's going off in the background. So you're watching the design get created at the time. And then the final one is almost like a client success story, a testimonial. It's kind of that buttery B-roll, beautiful, showing the whole project and then breaking it down.
But coming up with those 4 content buckets was only half the battle. Any video you ever make is gonna work way better if you're actually connecting with your audience, right? Honestly, you seem like such a natural in front of the camera, and that's not easy for most people. So what tips do you have for anyone dealing with nerves and, just wanting to come across as likable and genuine?
The real trick is just talking like you're talking to a friend over coffee. Just having a conversation. Don't think about all the people watching. Don't try and reach a million people. If you realize that I just want to talk to my buddy Joe or Kurt or whatever, that's going to make it easier talking to the camera for sure.
And on-camera skills are just one of those things where practice kind of makes perfect. It's a pretty weird skill when you think about it, and no one's born with it. You just have to be okay with being a little awkward in the beginning as you get more and more comfortable, like you're talking to a friend. So as his channel grew, Bobby faced a new challenge: time management. So he was spending hours editing videos on top of running his business and being present for his family.
You've heard it a million times. If you watch any kind of how to grow your YouTube channel, is you've really got to look at this as a business and go all in. I get that, and that's true, but I don't know if that's realistic. Life happens and things get busy, and when you start doing a good job with YouTube, you get more leads, right? So it's going to take your time away to doing more designing for me or running more projects or appointments. So it's a balancing act. I think what makes this manageable is getting help. As soon as you can get an editor. I do a lot of editing still myself, but I also kind of have some people that I can lean on a little bit to get help. Someone for thumbnails. How do you do all this? Well, if you don't have a bunch of employees that rely on you for hours and money, and you do it more like a contractor model, I think that is a really cool way to do business. They don't all have to be on staff. Essentially, I got one employee for my business. It's me.
This move let Bobby scale up his video production without sacrificing quality or burning out. He could pour all of his energy into creating really great landscapes and connecting with his audience while his editor was over here polishing the videos to perfection. But now let's talk numbers, because Bobby's YouTube success translated into some pretty serious business growth.
Okay, so if we're getting into some numbers, I'll throw out some numbers here. I will tell you that my Google AdSense revenue based on watch time is not very much. That's not a big part of it. What's big is the leads that come through for people that I can help with designs. So if we're talking some numbers, as far as design revenue, I can definitely hit 6 figures with that, no problem. And then if they are local, those lead to projects, and that's where the real money in our business comes. So as far as project revenue, it depends on the year, of course, but we can hit into 7 figures, no problem. And that's because of YouTube and the leads that it brings.
So does all your business come in through YouTube?
YouTube is the hub. I don't spend money on Facebook. I don't put stuff on Instagram. I have a spreadsheet where I get my leads, and it's amazing how many are YouTube. Design clients, I would say it's at least 50 to 60. Projects, I bet you it's in that 30% range.
And that's just what he can directly attribute to YouTube viewers. Most of the rest are actually referrals from previous clients he got from, you guessed it, YouTube. But the fact that at least 30% of Bobby's local business comes from YouTube, it's pretty crazy considering that most people just write off YouTube as a non-viable strategy for local businesses. The thinking goes, people will be watching my channel pretty much from everywhere, and only a small percentage of them will be local enough to be able to work with me. But Bobby actually has an ace up his sleeve to pack his audience with more people in his local St. Louis market. It's kind of old school, but it's working.
You can throw out a hashtag there so that it drops St. Louis, and the algorithm is very smart, and it's going to find people in your market that are looking for a landscape designer or how to make my backyard look cool or whatever. And it's going to suggest you in front of those people. You do the heavy lifting up front, and it's going to produce leads.
In other words, with the right approach, even the most local of businesses can find a global audience. And sometimes that global audience can lead right back to your own backyard. You just need the right playbook to make it happen. And do I have you covered there? So just click right here to save your seat in my brand new free masterclass where I'm going to show you how to attract unlimited clients right from YouTube, whether you're a local business that wants to go broader or a service business who can already work with people anywhere. These are the 5 secrets to make it happen. So click right here and we can get started right now.